Greetings and welcome to the Fan Perspective. I'm your host Nathan Lyle, and this is WNBA Weekly, the show where twice a week, usually on Mondays and Fridays, I talk about things that happened recently in the association and things I'm looking forward to in the coming days. So, some of the big headlines from the weekend. First of all, you have a few changes that have been made to the draft lottery. For the most part, it's basically going to be exactly the same, just a couple of minute things. There's a link in the description below if you want to read the article about that. And also, Coach Donovan became the first female coach to have 200 wins in the WNBA. She currently sits in 4th place on the all-time list. And depending on how Connecticut's season goes, she could possibly get up to 3rd before the end of the year. Though that's hard to say because Connecticut has struggled in this lately. So that's hard to tell. And also, Coach Dan Hughes in the game on Wednesday, he took a bad fall after a sideline collision with one of his players, and he had to be taken out on the stretcher. They took him to a hospital, but from what I'm hearing right now, he seems to be fine. And so far, the Stars are saying that he will be out there on the sidelines on Friday. Lower back injury, but nothing serious, and he should be okay. So that's good news because I was watching that game, and it was a very scary collision. So, on to some of the game action this week. First of all, we have on Tuesday a lot of action throughout the league. You have Kelsey Bone carries the Sun to a commanding victory against the Stars. You have the Sky, they have 6 players in double figures as they dominate against the Fever. You have Parker and Lavender both having a big game as the Sparks, they dominate the Lynx, at one point leading by 24 points in the 4th quarter. And LA wins their 3rd straight game, jumping into the playoffs for the first time this year. And then you also have Dewanna Bonner, Tulsa playing at home against the Phoenix Mercury. And the game goes into overtime, and then Dewanna Bonner, she hits a 3-pointer to beat the buzzer and give the Mercury the lead. And the big three, they carried the team because between Bonner, Griner, and Dupree, they had 67 of the team's 87 total points, 25 of the team's 37 rebounds, 3 of the team's 5 steals, and 8 of the team's 9 blocks. Most of those blocks are Griner anyways. That's just a daily thing. But those 3 are just taking the whole workload for this roster right now. And then on Wednesday, you had Latta scoring in bunches as the Stars get handed their 4th straight loss. And then on Thursday, in what can barely be described as a game, Tulsa goes into LA and they just get dominated on all fronts. As the LA Sparks, they now win their 4th straight game, and Tulsa loses their 8th consecutive game. And so now moving on to a few games that are being played this weekend. I will tell you which ones are being played nationally. For the rest of them, check your local listings, or you can catch every single game on WNBA Live Access. And as always, every single one of these times that I'm giving you is Eastern Standard Time, so adjust for whatever time zone you are in. And so, first of all, Friday, you've got Washington at Connecticut, 7 p.m. And, despite their downfall, Connecticut, even though they've been struggling, they're still only half a game out of the playoffs right now. Unfortunately, they're playing a Washington team that's in the fight for first place, so it's not like it's going to be easy for them to climb back up. And then you've got Atlanta at Indiana, and the Dream, they are on a long losing streak, and the only teams with worse road records than them are the Stars and Storm. And then you've got New York. Oh yeah, the Atlanta and Indiana game is going to be on NBA TV, which is kind of sad because that's one of the only games I don't want to see, but whatever. You've also got New York at Chicago. New York, they are in 1st place in the Eastern Conference, but it's a relatively slim lead. It's not like a huge, wide, you're never going to catch us margin. And Chicago is one of the best home teams in the league. They're 9-2 in Chicago this year, but one of those 2 losses was to New York. So then that one's at 8:30 p.m. and then you've also got Minnesota at Phoenix at 10 p.m. And so far in the battle for first in the West, the home team has taken every matchup so far this season. So then on Saturday, you've got only one game, Seattle at San Antonio on NBA TV. And I know it might not be the most exciting thing you've ever seen on TV, but it's the only game being played that day. So used to be Saturday was the marquee night where everybody plays. I don't know what happened. But yeah, Saturday you've got the toilet bowl between the Stars and Storm, and basically whoever loses this is the favorite to get that first overall draft pick. And you know the thing with both of these teams is that they are horrible on the road, and unfortunately San Antonio is the home team in this game. It's especially, and I'm a little scared right now because especially if Tulsa continues winning, like San Antonio has a chance to actually be in the playoffs. I mean, I think no matter what happens, that fourth seed in the West is probably going to have a losing record, and I don't know. There's a possibility it could be San Antonio, and I'm just like, no, we need that first. We need that first overall pick. We need it. We need it. Our future is at stake. And then you've got a full slate of games on Sunday, including all three out of four games will be televised, starting with Phoenix at Chicago at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be an exciting one because playing in Phoenix, the Mercury, they won by a slim margin, only 2 points. This time playing in Chicago, will Phoenix be able to deliver as strong a performance on the road? And then you've got Connecticut at Washington, that one at NBA TV. And 2 days later in a different venue, it's hard to say how different the outcome will be, especially since I haven't seen the first game. So I don't know what to tell you about this game except it's on TV. Might as well check it out if you can. Then you've also got Atlanta at Tulsa at 4:30 p.m. The two longest losing streaks in the league colliding. So we'll see how that goes. And then you've got Los Angeles at Minnesota, 7 p.m. on NBA TV. The third time they've played since the All-Star break, and they're gonna play each other again, I think, next week. And this is a very exciting matchup. At Los Angeles, they're on a 4-game winning streak. So far, when these two face, the home team wins every time. But Los Angeles barely lost in Minnesota the first time they played, and then they completely destroyed them when they played in LA. I mean, who knows? Maybe LA could go into Minnesota and pull off the upset. I feel like this is one of the games most worth checking out. So that's it for this edition of WNBA Weekly. Tune in on Monday for another all-new edition. But until then, this has been The Fan Perspective. I'm your host, Nathan Lyle. Have a great weekend. Hope you enjoy it.